Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Brian. Eduardo's here. So I'm not even letting you. I'm not even letting you go again to introduce yourself.
If you can speak right.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
You know, every time you say hello, everyone, I just want you one time to just be like, "Good news, everyone."
Good news.
So
We're going to infiltrate.
what happened to the background?
You know, I don't know. It happened before, and I think it happens again in another episode later on that I'm trying to, change weapons, and it's very difficult because I can't see the arrows. Mm-hmm. So it's like, ugh. But, so we're going to infiltrate a server for the Geth, which is big enough. It's that big. That's what I'm not going to go there.
No, we're just not going to talk about that.
So, I have noticed one thing.
You can make your jokes in the comments.
Yeah. So, while I was playing through this game, I've noticed something, and I know we've pointed this out before, but Shepard's facial expression does not change, ever. Except for two moments that I can really think of. Mm-hmm. Is when he's really, surprised, when Edie makes a joke about, forgetting to recycle the oxygen in the Normandy, mm-hmm. which, unfortunately, I don't show off.
That's how I skydived, by the way.
I don't show off in this series, which is unfortunate. I would have liked to, but other than that, then there's I can't really think of any other time that he really changes his facial expression severely enough.
He really doesn't, and that's something that's bothered me throughout the entire series. Is that, and it's something I talk about all the time, that the animators are not. I don't know if they're. I always say that they're not very good, but I don't know if it's that they're not really good or it's the limitations of the Unreal Engine. Because I started really thinking about it, and I'm
BioShock use the Unreal Engine?
Yeah. The new one's not supposed to. It's supposed to use the Frostbite engine, which has me really excited at seeing if they...
BioShock Infinite had Unreal.
Yeah.
So why was Elizabeth able to have facial expressions then?
I don't know, because I don't know, because I noticed this with other Unreal games, that a lot of the facial expressions tend to be very bland. Mm-hmm. And aside from Elizabeth, everyone else tends to just keep a very simple facial. Like, if you think of the Lutece twins in BioShock, you think of Comstock, you think of all of them. They all just kind of keep the same face, except for Elizabeth. Elizabeth is the only one that shows some semblance of emotion.
Yeah, that's true.
So it might be a limitation. There's only so many polygons they're allowed to manipulate at a time or something. I don't know. I'm not a video game programmer, so I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah. But yeah, we're getting integrated into the Geth network. So basically, you're going into the Matrix. Mm-hmm. We don't have a phone booth, but it's close enough.
That's a future phone booth. Also, this is the only mention they ever do until the very end of the game about Shepard being a cyborg.
Yeah.
It's like... They never talk about it. I wanted that to be such a big point in 2 and 3. I wanted that to be such a huge thing, because it's a really cool thing that they never talk about.
Yeah, I always like how the Legion's like, remain still, Commander, and then he's like, stop moving. You keep moving. And I don't get how this works, how you can integrate an organic being into a digital world like this.
I wouldn't look too far into it.
But it's really weird. This. You know what this reminds me of? The Animus.
Yeah.
Where it's like in that glitchy island in Revelations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely bears a striking resemblance.
That's how computers work, don't you know? It's basically a bunch of blocks.
Yeah, that's the way computers work, don't you know?
Yeah, we're from Minnesota.
Minnesota. But yeah.
Yeah, visually distinctness.
Yeah.
See, I'm thinking this is how a lot of people think how computers work.
It's a series of tubes, right?
Yeah.
Just tubes.
It is.
Yeah, information goes from one tube, goes to the other tube, That's how it works, right?
Yeah. Al Gore was right. Well, not Al Gore, but whoever said that it was a series of tubes.
You're in the right field. There was some politician
that said it. It was a politician, but it wasn't Al Gore. Al Gore, really helped shape the modern internet, I guess.
He pushed it to the masses.
That's pretty much what
because it used to be something that was only reserved for the
military and schools,
private organizations.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, now we get a gun with unlimited ammo, but it's like an electro gun, which is awesome.
yeah, the ammo counter is misleading because it's really, I mean, it's not infinite, but you can reload it an infinite number of times.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know why they even bothered to give you an ammo counter.
It recharges, so yeah, I don't get it. It's like, hey, we're gonna not have you give you infinite ammo, but at the same time give you infinite ammo. It's just gonna be inconvenient.
Yeah, like, that's weird. I do like how you have to clear out the obstructions.
Which in this these yellow things are Reaper code that we're destroying somehow.
Because this is how hacking works, don't you know?
Yeah, this is what I do at work. I mean, hey,
dude, now I know why. Now you know why you didn't want to come see Guardians of the Galaxy with us. Because this is, you have to be awake if you're doing this much physical activity.
Yeah,
you got to be awake for that.
Pretty much. That's why I'm so physically fit.
Yeah, in case you guys can't see us, we both have like 12 packs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're that fit. We're twice as fit.
Yeah.
We have 12 packs.
So much fitness that it can't even fit into one human being.
Oh, jeez.
But this is actually one of my favorite levels. It's the
definitely.
It's the most unique, but the problem is it's kind of boring.
It is. It's boring until you see the little mini like videos that reveal the history between the Geth and the Quarians. But it's very biased though, because it's all being shown from the Geth's perspective. And despite what Legion says that the data is just being presented in like as is format.
Yeah.
The Geth are sentient.
Yeah.
They may not feel emotion, but that does not mean they don't feel bias.
Right. So, you know, having
yeah, also not all the blocks can be destroyed.
Which is kind of stupid. You can only break the ones that are bright orange.
Yeah.
And this is the point that I hate the whole recharging crap.
It's dumb. I'm gonna give you infinite ammo, but not really.
We gotta wait a few seconds until, you know, it recharges. And, yeah, it's like, you have the biases and stuff like that, so it's like, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool thing that it shows you the, you know, what's going on and everything. And it does give you a little bit of a insight into the downfall of the Quarians and the uprising of the Geth, but it's still bias because it's only presenting the one side of everything. You know, because it's trying to make the case that computers, or not computers, but, you know, artificial intelligence is not going to cloud up history, whereas organic beings do, you know, like the famous saying, history is written by the victors.
Yeah.
You know, and
the one thing I do find interesting is, you know, Shepard asks, the Quarians are masked, and
using your own memory.
But it's like, that's where it gets like distorted as to, oh, this is an as-is from our archives. If it was from their archives, it would be them without their suits and stuff.
Yeah, but their reasoning is because for Shepard's mind to process what's happening, they have to borrow things that his mind can comprehend. Okay. But how hard is it to really comprehend what the Quarians really look like?
Right. Apparently this game shows them looking pretty much like humans.
Yeah, sort
of. Because if you romance Tali, she will leave a picture.
What was it?
Like a woman
photo.
Yeah, it was a stock
Photoshop stock photo
of a brunette woman on like a field or something like that.
Yeah,
and it's like a lot of people were pissed off about that,
which I don't understand because games do this all the time. They do this movies, games, everything. Stock photos exist for a reason. It's actually a very lucrative business.
Yeah,
very, very lucrative.
Yeah,
you know, like licensing fees are astronomical for that.
But I can kind of understand where they're coming from for something that important.
Oh yeah, like I would have totally found like some ridiculously hot woman and been like, "Can I take your picture?"
Or they could have gone to the concept artist and said, "Hey, we need you to show us what Tali looks like under the mask."
Oh yeah.
Now, if you notice, I did kind of do a transition and a cut because apparently I didn't move close enough to the edge for the next part of the path.
Yeah, I know it gets a little confusing.
So I was like running around for a good 5-10 minutes trying to find the next part of what I needed to. Because it doesn't really
show you where you're supposed to go.
Yeah, which is kind of upsetting. And the one thing I do not like about this area is your shields do not exist.
Well, you're not fighting anything.
I know, but it's a bit, there's that red tinge right under your health bar because of it.
Yeah.
Which
I
I
don't
personally
understand why they didn't just give you your shields and just kind of like, were like, oh yeah, it's not
Yeah,
there.
it would have been nice.
An efficient model.
Whatever.
Oh well.
Yeah, too late now.
I think we go through like 3 or 4 of these sections
Yeah.
until we get to the end.
Yeah, I think it's like 3. Also, did you notice
I-
that
yeah,
there was
I-
a double shepherd?
Yeah.
Are you there?
You basically have an out of body experience.
Yeah.
The guest squadrons have arrived, but
Something's amiss. Some of them are drunk. So drunk they just pass out. See, that makes it seem like there's engine trouble, not that the pilots are out of commission.
We will continue to hold out as long as we can.
Also, why would the engines need to keep running if they're in space? Like, that's something I never quite understood in space movies, games. Because, at least to my knowledge, the way physics works is that in space, you turn on your engine once, you get to the speed you want to, and then you just kind of turn them off.
Yeah.
Because you'll keep moving. As long as no other gravity, fields affect
No other
you.
forces are affecting you.
Yeah, exactly.
Points in the infection.
At least to my knowledge, that's the way it works. And this is the part I hate too, when they start getting
Yeah.
once a regen.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're gonna regenerate the damaged code stuff.
Yeah, and then there's also a range limitation too, which is dumb.
And sir, you have to break the corresponding code fragment that actually causes the regeneration.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll keep regenerating. Or Legion will say, "You must find the blah 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 blah," and that gets really annoying, really fast.
I think it would have been cool if for each section that you're in, it was a different puzzle you needed to like solve. Like this could have been like the first section where you have to shoot out stuff, and the next one it was like, oh, you kind of need to do X thing instead.
Yeah.
And each section had something related to the type of memory that you're trying to unlock.
Right.
I think it would have been cooler. Like that.
Would have been. And as you can see, we can't break the ones connecting to the orb
Until you break.
until those are destroyed.
Yeah. I mean, also with the whole puzzle thing.
And the problem is, you have to actually destroy more than one sometimes.
Yeah, it's a little annoying. But like, 'cause the one cool thing is that this part reminds me in Saints Row 4 that there's a part where one of your crewmates, you have to find them, and his entire unlocking level is you go through an old style like text-based RPG adventure. And I think it would have been really cool if something like that happened here. Like, maybe not as something like it, because Saints Row is all about parody.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be doing that. But I think it would have been something cool like that, because each time you get a new new crew member for Saints Row 4, there's a different type of mission that you have to go through
Yeah.
to get them. Like one's like a rescue mission, another one is like the text adventure, another one's like a beat 'em up type mission. And they're all different. I think it would have been cool for something like that, where there was one that was like the whole shooting thing, and another one was, it's some, for whatever reason, you go into like the command line stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, you have to find the right code and all that. Because I remember they did have a hacking mini game like that in the second one. And I think it would have been cool if they brought something like that back for this.
Yeah, and you, even with bypassing the first game, it's like, yeah, it wasn't specifically difficult or anything like that, but it was fun. So.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun until about the 50th time you did it.
BioWare, you could have done some good things, but you didn't.
Yeah.
We are disappointed.
A little bit. A little disappointed. Still a fun game, though. Still a very fun game. But
It is, and one thing that isn't fun about this is you have to backtrack.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing with this, too. It's a very cool section. It's just... They killed it.
Yeah, the way they presented it was not as good as it could have been. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna give you some gimmick, and you have to do that the entire time. We're not gonna really change it up except for once.
We cannot establish a connection without access to this data cluster.
Good. We don't want you to give you data. And for whatever reason, that path just stops. It just stops and is red for some...
Because you have to destroy it.
There is a
I know, but there wasn't anything else in that area. It just stopped.
It will flow
Yeah, also in this section, there's no... I mean, it should be pretty apparent, but there are no items you have to collect or anything like that. It's just this, which also makes it boring because then
It's like you don't feel like you really accomplished anything.
no, I mean aside from getting the little tidbits of Quarian history, but what if you didn't like the Quarians?
Yeah,
What, this doesn't matter to you. You know, you already have like I understand why they put this in for later on in the game because ultimately just like all the other races you have to get the Quarians and the Geth on your side, and then this factors into it because then you have to be like, oh wait, Quarians, you guys did this, and or the Geth did this, and then it is what it is.
Yeah, personally, I think they could have done this a little bit better, but that's just my opinion.
Oh yeah, I have to agree with you on that one too. That they totally could have done this section a little bit more unique, a little less repetitive. Just more is what I'm asking for with this section.
Thankfully, it's not terribly long.
No,
but it took me half an hour to play through this. And like I said, I cut out 5 to 10 minutes worth of just running around getting lost. So
got weird.
So it could have been a bit more efficiently executed.
Destroy!
No, it's all right. We'll go back to the access tunnel then.
Creator Megara, what is your status?
Oh, Megara's dead.
Creator Megara.
And the Geth is sad.
As time passed, the creators who opposed martial law and violence were
I thought the Geth couldn't talk aside from Legion.
I guess they could have. They just don't use English because it's not as efficient.
Maybe.
I suppose. I don't know.
I don't remember, but whatever.
Yeah, and then you get orbs like this that you don't even have to do anything. It just is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay. And I like how they know what
a click.
It's
Hear
a
that all the
kilometer.
time. Is it a kilometer?
Yeah.
Never knew that. Hear that all the time, and I'm like,
It's a kilometer.
okay, cool.
So it's just weird that they're using clicks when
It is timestamped 290 years
clicks like 290 years ago was before we knew about the mass relays. So and clicks were like English.
Once again, they're also using it to process. Like, language makes sense, because that would be really hard for Shepard to process if they're not talking in a language he understands.
Yeah.
So they convert it over to something that Shepard can understand. But it still doesn't make sense why they couldn't just show him what the Quarians really look like.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense. So,
Additional data recovered.
Oh well.
That's back when I activated you on the Normandy.
Yay! And it's in the third person.
Thinking about when we met.
It was highly significant. You were the
also
first
he's wearing a
Quarian to
different
formally
outfit.
cooperate
Yeah.
with Geth since
It isn't Legion like in red, which I don't think he's in that much red when we found him.
Not gonna
no.
be easy.
the prospect.
It might also be the tinting that in order to make Legion stand out, they kind of maybe had to put more red.
Probably.
You think
What I find interesting though is we leave all these fragments and stuff like that in the whole system, and that somehow still lets us win. I don't get it.
I mean, you only hack something, you only half-hack something, you know.
Yeah, like this is like a glorified virus removal,
Shit.
and it's like, oh, we're only gonna do half of it,
Look, the Geth shut down.
and somehow that causes all the ships to kind of just go all.
Here's something that never made sense to me. Why do the Geth have to actually tactilely, control the ship?
Why can't they just interface with it?
Yeah, like
That is a good question.
that would have made way more
Another
sense.
good question is why do they have to have these chambers to access the consensus?
Well, and it's the same thing that this is how Shepard interacts with it. It's not how it actually.
Well, no. The actual physical pods, like you saw Shepard get.
Oh
in the
yeah,
pod,
yeah.
and the
No,
Geth
that makes
Prime-
no sense.
The Geth Prime are in pods as well. It's like, why can't they just take a USB, click it in the back of their head?
I don't even think they
And
would
that's
need
it.
to do that. Why do they even need to do that at all? Why couldn't they just use
Well,
like
they do have the
Wi-Fi or
communication.
something?
Yeah, they do have the communication wirelessly, which again begs the question: okay, if the Geth can communicate wirelessly or
alright?
through this network or whatever, and the more there are, the more powerful they and and the smarter they become. Why do they make noise when
The clicks?
Yeah,
I don't know. I really have no idea what to tell you.
Are you sure?
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
What's happening?
We have transferred Geth programs from the server into these
Good,
platforms.
they're still red though.
Why?
Another blue.
Because
They wish
They're now Paragon.
Even our machines were never this irrational.
while Shepard Commander
that's something that always annoys me in
we
games and
we could
movies is
persuade
that
hostile Geth
somehow a color change is always necessary to signify if something's
Good.
good or bad.
Yeah.
Because in real life, that doesn't happen. Someone's gonna shoot you. They don't suddenly. Then they change their mind. They don't suddenly go, "Let me do a wardrobe change."
Just a second, I gotta get out my blue shirt.
Yeah, right. Like that doesn't happen.
Let me get into my red shirt, which if you were in Star Trek, that means you just die. But hey, whatever.
Unless you're
greater
Yahora, I
than they
think.
were before.
She wore a red shirt, right?
Huh?
I think she was a red shirt.
Let's get back to the
Yahora.
normal.
I think it's her name.
I don't know.
I'm not a huge Star Trek fan.
Neither am I. I've never really watched Star Trek. All I know is red shirts die.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of the joke.
Wasn't Scotty a red shirt?
I think
Is it-
so.
Because that's engineering, isn't it?
I
Red shirts are
think-
engineering. Blue is a science team. Yellow is command.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Usually, though, engineering are the instant expendables.
You're looking for other service.
So it's like they're cannon fodder.
Unless you have a name.
Yeah, if you have a really proper name and you have a lot of screen time,
What's that?
then you're not gonna die.
Which is why Simon Pegg is still alive.
Yeah.
They volunteered.
'Cause who wants to kill Simon Pegg, really?
Well, should
Ah.
examine these Geth to confirm
Oh, and Admiral Zen's not happy with the Geth or us because it's like they volunteered. Oh, fine, great, perfect, whatever.
Well, I guess we don't have to start the draft now.
Which is nice. I like that we have them, but it doesn't really do anything for us yet.
Commander Shepard,
And this
something
gets really annoying. It's like,
Because there's nothing to talk about.
yeah, it's like why?
Like you ask him the
more.
same stuff, but it's all dependent on what you've done. So you
Yeah.
can ask about galactic readiness, and he'll only
And that's
change it.
multiplayer.
Yeah, he'll only change it if you do more multiplayer or the progress on the Crucible depends on how many war assets you have and whatever. Like he'll only ever change it every once in a while, but for the most part, it's the same thing over and over.
Right.
again.
The only thing I don't like about it is, it's like, oh, we're going to,
Zen, you can always send a salvage team later.
Admiral Hackett. Oh, he's on VidCon. Oh, hello. What's new? Nothing. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the next episode with Mass Effect 3. We'll actually do the final mission of Rannoch, I think.
Yep, we should be doing that.
See ya.
Bye.